You're losing every negotiation you have because you can't shut up for 10 seconds. And I can prove it. There's a moment in every important conversation with your boss, partner, or a client where their brain goes into panic mode. And if you stay silent just for 10 seconds, they're gonna tell you exactly what you want to hear. You miss it, you lose. I'm a sales trainer and I teach people psychological influence techniques that work in high stakes conversation. But this technique, it doesn't just work in sales. It works on your boss during salary negotiations, your partner when you actually need it, and anyone you need anything from, right? So let me show you how. And here's what happens in every important conversation you ever have. You go to the boss and he says,
We will need to think about your rise.
your partner says to you, I'm fine. Or your client tells you, well, I just need to think about it. And what do? You immediately fill in the silence. You explain, you justify, and you just convince. You just keep talking. And they just disengage, clock out, they shut down, and you, brother, you just lose. So this happens because your brain is wired to fear the silence. Silence feels like a rejection, like failure, like you're losing control. So you rescue them from discomfort and you're doing a disservice. And in doing that, you lose the entire conversation because they never had to tell you what they're actually thinking. So let me show you what this actually cost you. So let's imagine that conversation with the boss where you go and ask about the rise. And what you do, you start listing all of the reasons of why you should deserve it. And what he does, he just tunes out and you get no rise. In relationship, your partners tell you they're fine. And you keep asking questions about what's wrong and they just complete shutdown and you never get to the real cause. In a business, client tells you that they're gonna think about it, you keep pitching, they ghost you, and deal is dead. You're not losing because they don't want to tell you yes. You're losing because you just won't shut up long enough to let them. But here's what you don't realize. Every time you feel that silence, you're not just losing a conversation. You're basically training people that you are weak. Your boss learns that you're gonna back down. Your partner learns that you're gonna accept surface level answers. And your clients learn that you're desperate. This isn't costing you one conversation, it's costing you respect. So let me explain what's actually happening in your brain when silence happens. Your brain releases cortisol as a stress hormone, and you just feel like you need to fill in that gap, or you're just gonna lose that conversation. But here's what most people just don't know. Their brain is doing the exact same thing. Whoever speaks first basically loses because they reveal their position, their fear, their truth. And the person who sit in that discomfort usually wins. So here's a exact technique that you can take and apply and change around your conversations. After you ask a strategic question, you just count down from 1 to 10 in your head. You don't rescue them, you don't explain, you don't soften it. You just wait. And what's gonna happen is that their brains is gonna start panicking. And in that panic, they will fill the void with truth. Things they didn't plan to say, things they've been hiding. And this is called strategic silence. And it's the most powerful tool you're gonna ever learn. So let me show you how this works in a real life. So let's take the first scenario with the boss. You go there and you ask him for a raise. What most people is going to do, hey, boss, I want to talk about the rise. Boss is going to tell you,
Well, we're going to have to see what I can do about that.
in most of the cases, but not in all of them, right? And you immediately panic. You just want to convince him. You're like, hey, I've been working here for X amount of the years, right? I think I've earned that. You know, I've did this thing, that thing, right? I've been involved. I've taken more projects and yada, yada, yada. What happens? The guy clocks out, right? And you're done. You're cooked. And here's the right way on how you can implement this strategy and have a different outcome. When you go and ask the same question about the rise, and he says that he will need to see what he can do about it, just don't say nothing. You just sit there silently and you do following. You count in your head from 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And watch what is going to happen. Your boss is going to spit something out. And he's going to tell something related to what he's actually thinking, because now he's the guy who's under the pressure. And you don't beg, you don't justify, you just sit there in silence and you waited for the real thing to come up. Same case with your partner, right? He's distant. Here's the wrong way to do it. You go and ask what's wrong. They tell you traditional nothing, right? And then you jump on them. Come on, I see, tell me, is it something that I did, you did, that I made you mad? Talk to me. And what happens? I just keep locking that door further down the road and you get nowhere. The right way, you just go there, you ask the question. I've noticed you've been distant lately. What's on your mind? Well, the traditional first answer, I don't know, nothing really. And then just sit there in silence and you do the same routine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And they're gonna tell you something. Honestly, I feel like you don't do XYZ thing, right? You've been doing this and that. And there it is. The real issue comes to the surface level, or at least the next clue. And what you did actually nothing. The real specific problem that you can actually look and fix because you were sitting in a silence. You got it because you didn't want to rescue them, right? You just sat in a discomfort. Scenario with a client. He hesitates at your price. Let's say, what's the wrong way to do it? So client tells you that's expensive, right? And instead of like jumping on them and just unveiling every single card you have there, oh, we can give you a payment plan, maybe we can discount, maybe we can do this and that, right? You're just destroying your whole negotiation power. And when you do that, they smell just the desperation. The right way how to do it is asking about their concerns, or when they tell you on that it is expensive, what they're comparing it to. And the client is going to start telling you, well, realistically, we've been just burned in past by the similar provider. We just didn't see the return on investment. And we're worried that this is going to happen once again. And now you're not talking about the price. You're addressing the real issue, their fear in the past, right? And that's a completely different conversation. And you win that because you just waited. So what's an actual reason why this works? So when you stay silent after somebody speaks, their brain releases like 2 chemicals. The first one is oxytocin, the trust hormone. They feel heard, so they just trust you more. And the second one is the dopamine, the reward chemical. Talking just feels good to them, so they just keep going deeper. Literally, you're hacking their brain chemistry to make them want to tell you the truth. And you're doing it by doing nothing. Just sitting there and counting to 10. So, I have a homework for you. And in your next 3 conversations, try this one. Ask an open-ended question and then count to 10 before you speak again. And obviously, if you haven't done it, you're going to feel uncomfortable. And that is the point. Your brain is going to scream at you and going to say, hey, let's fill in the silence. Let's do some talking. Let's convince this person. Let's throw something in that's going to make this conversation more sweet. Just don't do it. Just sit in, watch the other person reveal when you don't rescue them. And 3 mistakes people make with this. Mistake number 1, they want to keep the silence, but they don't. They just break it, right? And you ask immediately the question, and then you start explaining it, and please, just don't do it. Mistake number 2, you use silence as a weapon, and it should feel curious, not aggressive. So you are giving them space to think, you're not interrogating them. Mistake number 3, you don't read the room. If person is genuinely stuck, just ask the follow-up question, right? It's not the stare down contest. So your brain is a tool. It's not just the script. And this one technique from a whole system of psychological influence I teach, that I break down frameworks like this in my Telegram channel and on this YouTube channel. And if you want to learn how to read people, negotiate better, and get what you want in any conversation, there's a link in the description. And here's what I want you to do. Don't just like this video. Go and actually try this technique. It's super simple. That's the reason why I created this. Try it in your next couple of conversations, and then come back to this video and tell me what happened in comments. And you know what? I read every single one.